That was the scenario last night. Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson escaped crowded traffic conditions in the tunnel after the Game 2 win. Drake, of course, did not so much. And as you heard Nick Friedel say just now, nothing new really on either injury. And as their coach pointed out, even if there were something new about Klay and it was positive, knowing Klay, you'd have to take it with a grain of salt.
Klay said he'll be fine, but, you know, Klay could be half dead and he'd say he'd be so we'll see. You know, he pulled his hamstring. He thinks it's minor. So I don't know what that means going forward.
It's possible the Warriors could be looking at Game 3 with at least one of them not playing. So far this postseason, the numbers show the Warriors have been much better when KD is the lone warrior on the court out of these two. And as you ponder that, the question of which is the bigger deal for the Warriors, KD's injury or Klay's injury, is now addressed by our KD and Klay, Tony and Michael, with this fresh PTI take.
All right, Wilbon, what is the bigger storyline for the Warriors heading into Game 3? The injury status of Klay Thompson or the injury status of Kevin Durant?
Klay Thompson, Tony. I mean, Klay Thompson, we were reminded in Game 2 just how great Klay Thompson is. And, you know, it's interesting. To me, he is still, after all this time, underappreciated. Hell, I didn't appreciate him enough when I didn't vote for him in one of the top 3 all-league teams.
Cost them a lot of money, Wilbon. You personally cost them millions.
That's why I wish I had my ballot back. But Klay Thompson, Tony, he is so efficient. It seems effortless, but it's not effortless. He was 10 of 17 last night. And as you know, I mean, he was the guy who kept Golden State connected to Toronto early in that game when the Raptors were playing really well.
That's right.
So, no, I mean, KD, there's uncertainty. We don't know. We just saw Klay Thompson last night. We know what he can do if healthy, so the answer is Klay.
I'm not going to say the obvious stupid thing, which is the Warriors will win without Kevin Durant because they've won a bunch of games already. You can't take Kevin Durant out of your lineup and expect to be as good as you are with Kevin Durant. But Kevin Durant will walk back into a game much like Boogie Cousins walked back into a game, his first game, and he's not going to be Kevin Durant. If you lose Klay Thompson with Kevin Durant out, you have lost 50 to 55 You can't win. So the answer to this question is Klay Thompson's status is significantly more important.
Klay Thompson, boys and girls. That's it. We're done. Hope he can play and be himself. Back to you.
For the Dubs, they sustained a bunch of hits last night, but delivered the final blow to steal one in Toronto to even the series before going home. A look at the damage. Let's start with Klay last night, dealing with a left hamstring tightness after landing awkwardly early in the fourth quarter. Klay said he's confident he'll be able to play in Game 3. The other Splash Brothers, Steph, dealing with dehydration that required attention from the Warriors training staff. He started the game 0 for 6 before picking up his play. And Kevon Looney suffered a chest contusion in the second quarter, and he did not return after a collision with Kawhi. He's scheduled to undergo an MRI and CT scan today. And then Andre Iguodala, the hero last night, but not before he was hobbled at the end of Game 1 with a calf injury. And add all this to Kevin Durant. He's been out for nearly 4 weeks since injuring his calf in Game 5 of the second round against the Rockets. He's missed the last 7 games, but the Warriors' motto, strength in numbers, is working right now in the postseason.
Everybody's going to have a chance to help us win a championship at some point, and just to stick with it and be patient. And it shows itself over the course of a season. And tonight was huge. And we need 3 more wins, and we need it to keep going. But that's a part of who we are and our DNA. It's not just what we say.
This has been our MO since I've been here. Next man up mentality. Guys rest, guys get hurt. Everybody has confidence in each other.
It's been the story of the last, month and a half, 2 months for us. A guy goes down, the next guy steps up, and it's been really enjoyable, that part of it.
Nick Friedel covers the Warriors and joins us now on SportsCenter live from Oakland. And Klay, he was scheduled to have an MRI today. He says he's going to play for Game 3, but what more can you tell us about his status for that game on Wednesday night?
Kevin, everything got pushed back here in Oakland because the Warriors team plane didn't land until after 4 in the morning Pacific time. A lot of guys didn't get to sleep till 6:30 or 7 in the morning. They're just lucky they got here. As I was checking out in Toronto around 4 Eastern, there were a lot of staff members and family members that got stuck on the second plane the Warriors were supposed to fly out of Toronto that just got back a couple minutes ago. So as far as Klay goes, he's confident, but it all depends on what the MRI says. I walked out of the arena with him last night. He was lamenting the fact that not only he's got this injury now, but as you recall last year in Game 1, he was struggling with a high ankle sprain. So they believe he'll be out there, and it's key, but it all hinges on what the MRI says in the next couple hours.
All right, now before Game 2, Steve Kerr said KD could return with just one practice under his belt. Where do things currently stand with Kevin Durant?
There's some hope that he might be able to go on Wednesday for Game 3, but Kevin, the more likely situation is to have KD out there in Game 4, allow him a couple extra days of rehab, allow him that one practice prior to Game 4, and then get him out there at Oracle. It's all dependent on how he's feeling in the next couple days. On top of KD, Kevon Looney is going through his own MRI and CT scan on his right shoulder. It was really bothering him last night. It was hanging. They took him out. They're not sure what to expect, but now they have DeMarcus Cousins and Andrew Bogut to pick up the slack. With Andre Iguodala, he's okay. That calf injury, though, is bugging him. He was limping around a lot in the locker room, and you mentioned Steph. He's going to get a lot of fluids the next couple days, and they expect him to be fully ready to go for Game 3 on Wednesday night.
All right, so they have a couple more days as that series moves to Oakland for Game 3. A tip-off 9 Eastern on ABC on Wednesday night. Nick, thank you so much.
One game doesn't define a series.
They got rings and they can be confident.
It's 1st to 4, not 1st to 1.
Curry from way downtown.
Third quarter. We lost the game there.
Iguodala puts it up. It's good. This best-of-7 series is tied at 1 game apiece.
And we got a series. Mr. Brain, after scoring 23 points in the first 3 quarters last night, Steph was shut out in the 4th after the Raptors tapped into a high school playbook and went boxing 1. It's a trap. Steph did not take a single shot in 8 minutes. It's the most minutes in any 4th quarter in his career without a shot attempt. Now, with the focus on Steph, the Raptors gave Andre Iguodala space, and Iggy made him pay. The 2015 Finals MVP given 16 feet of real estate on that game-clinching 3. This postseason, he's 4 of 7 with at least 15 feet of room, the most makes and attempts from any player in the league.
Everything you guys have overcome, all the championships you've won, what motivates you to keep going to play hurt at this point in your career?
I like Steph. He's a good dude, and good guy to be around. That's really the only reason why I like playing basketball. That's the only reason why I play. I've never seen him in person, so such a good person to ever get some backlash or whatever from his peers, because they're so jealous of what he has. So it's kind of sticking to him. And so I'm trying to, whatever it takes to protect his legacy. I'm all for it.
We got a couple things to dissect from that comment. NBA champ Richard Jefferson joining us now here on SportsCenter. RJ, now you play with LeBron. You won a title with him. What do you make of Iggy saying he's playing for Steph's legacy because of the backlash from his peers?
Well, one of the things I want to first address is, Andre, you need to come join the Bald Man Club. Just come join us. You're my guy. I've been bald forever. So just let's just join the club. We'll talk about that later. But I think for Andre, it's extra motivation. I think he looks around and sees jealousy or sees something from our peers and his peers in the league, and it's like, wait, you guys don't like Steph. It's not because he doesn't talk trash. It's not because the way he carries himself. He doesn't do anything extra. He's a family man. He does everything that he's supposed to. But he sees tension from other players and other all-stars and guys around the league, and he's like, oh, if you don't like my guy and he's done nothing wrong, then I'm gonna make sure you really don't like my guy so we can go out there and win and defend him.
It's fascinating, especially when you're talking about a unanimous MVP and a guy who's the greatest shooter in NBA history. All right, now let's talk about shooting. The health of Klay and KD unknown entering Game 3, and the Raptors deciding to play boxing 1 against Steph in the 4th quarter and holding him scoreless, a defense Steph called janky. When you hear all that, what adjustments must the Warriors in the next 2 days make here?
Well, I think the Warriors need to continue doing what they're doing. I think in game one, where they let the Raptors shoot 50% from the field, 40% from three, we talked so much about Pascal Siakam going 14 of 17. The Warriors just weren't ready to play high-level defensive or NBA Finals-type basketball. So I think now that they're kind of in that mode, you saw them hold them to 36% shooting from the field. That's normally that Warriors defense that we are all so familiar and frightful of. And so I think that's just what they need to continue to do. And they continue to play defense and get shots from guys like DeMarcus Cousins, they're going to be fine.
They grinded it out game two. They were outscored 23-0 in second chance points and still stole a game in Toronto. RJ, thank you.
Thank you for having me, guys.